Now, before you guys say anything, yes, I am fully aware that there is a glitchy part at the very beginning of this, but you know what? I got so depressed editing this thing that you're just gonna have to deal with it. You're just gonna have to deal with it, okay? Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today on Dress to Kill, we are going to be doing something a little bit different, as you can see right here. This was actually a requested video, and to be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure how I'm even going to film this or record this. I just figured I would do it, and hopefully I'd figure my way out. But I did have a viewer recently request to see me do a customization from start to finish, like just a raw customization, and just kind of walk you guys through my mental steps of how I want to do it, basically. And it was an interesting thing because I'd never ever thought of doing that before, but I think that some of you guys, you guys are wondering, where my brain goes, what I think about when I do my customizations. So I figured I would just go ahead and give it a shot, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you guys would find it interesting. Maybe it's different to see how my brain works when it comes to doing customizations, and maybe you'll get a feeling as to why and how I do things. So as you can see right now, and they didn't specify any frame, they're like, do any frame you want. Now in my previous video, when I showed the finalized color customizations for Harrow, I only had 2. And the main reason is I really enjoyed coloring Harrow, and there's a lot of there's some flexibility that you get for coloring Harrow. So a part of me is like, all right, well, let's color him. And let's see what we can do from the ground up. We'll toss some armor on, possibly. We'll see how that all looks. But yeah, so I figured I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So I guess the first thing that I want to go through and is like this. So what I'm looking at right now is I look at the other customizations that I've done, and I ask myself where else I can take this. What else can I do with this? So I've got a light Harrow. I've got what I call the more rugged Harrow. Now, clearly, the one type of Harrow that we don't have is the dark, scary Harrow. So I figured maybe I would do something along those lines. Now, if you notice, what I did was I made it so I did not see the melee weapons. For some reason, that really distracts me. I just kind of like to see the frame on its own. I might actually go ahead and put a different customization on, or a different animation on him, just to kind of, I don't know, get a better feeling. That's actually pretty kind of cool. That almost goes with him. He's a little weird and wonky. But I have been using this pretty much on Harrow, so I'm thinking that we're gonna do that. And again, because it just, I don't know what it is, it just drives me nuts. I like to not have to see that kind of stuff. Helmet, we're gonna start with the suffragan. Just oh my god, over and over and over, it just never stops. So we're gonna start with the suffragan, and then we're gonna kind of work backwards from there. So I did want something dark, but at the same time I don't always want to go typical, and I've found that, that's the number one thing, is there's the easy way out, and there's the cool way to do it, So I'm thinking maybe something like a dark brown. Maybe we'll even go gray, who knows. So I think I'm gonna start with, where I want to start? I want to start with the owl crotch. Because I was actually tempted to do something with a violety purple, and I was kind of into that. I was like, ooh, what if we do a black and purple look instead of maybe instead of a typical black and red look, which I'm sure a lot of people, all of the stalker fans out there will probably go for. Oh my god, it's hurting my soul. Fine, we're just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna have to pretend that I don't see it. I'm gonna pretend that I don't see it. And maybe we'll go for something a little bit darker. Maybe, no, it's gotta be a little bit deeper than that. So my go-to, so as you guys know, when I go for dark grays or I go for deeper colors, I never go for straight up pitch black, because it kills the details. So you see these little etchy things right here. If I go too dark, those just go away. And for me, that's a big no-no. I want to be able to see the texture on the frame. I don't necessarily want to just blot it out completely. So I would probably go with a step down. So as you can see with a step down, you can still see the lines. The lines catch the light. They're not completely drowned out. I don't know if we're gonna stick with black, to be completely honest with you. We'll find out as we go, and that's kind of the beauty of this. And I'm gonna confess something to you guys too. Ooh, ooh, I kind of like the way, and so that purple might change, you know, for the life of it, but I kind of like how it looks with the dark gray and kind of like a little tint to offset it. I'm always into these teals, and I don't know why. That's another thing that I kind of like am very cognizant of, like what colors have you used, what colors do you tend to go for, and sometimes I try to push that a little bit. In fact, let's go to the other customization. Originally, this customization was a reddish, like a reddish burgundy-ish color, and I still love it, and I'm not, you know, I'm not opposed to swapping it back because it looks very papal, like it looks very like, you know, it looks very Pope-like, and I'm kind of a fan. But the thing is, I noticed that in my brain, I'd been using way too many reds. I use a lot of warm colors, so I actually decided against that and to try to mix it up just a little bit. Right now, I'm not feeling the dark gray, to be honest with you. You know what? Let's go ahead. Let's do some metallic work. I've done a lot of gold, so I'm almost thinking that maybe I want to do something silvery. Like, this is just basically me kind of going through and saying, what have you done? How could you... Ooh, maybe like a little, really like pretty rose. That rose always gets me. And y'all know I fall back on those. And as you can see, I've gone for it again. I've gone straight for the rose. Maybe we can do something that's brassy. I feel like it's a little too in your face. I feel like it's possibly like just too much. There's other tones if I feel like going down the brass route that we can embrace with that. Like there's some good ones in here. Like I need something more matted than that though if I'm gonna do brass, because it's a little too in your face. It's a little too much, and that's kind of like one of the things that I'm not a big fan of, is I don't like it when it's just overtly like that. There you go. If we're gonna do something like that, I might go with something like this. But of course that's not gonna go, I don't know, that doesn't really, I won't say that looks great with the purple, so we might have to give up on the purple, but let's kind of fuck around with this. One of the things that I hate confessing to, and I give so many people so much shit about doing it, that it kind of hurts my soul to admit it. Sometimes if I run out, like usually on these third ones, I'm probably a little bit tapped out when it comes to like what I want to do. Like the first two, I'm like, I've got vision, I've got feeling. That's actually not, I'm not using that tone, but that's it's an interesting direction to take it in because it's brownie. And we could make it look like brownie robes. But yeah, so one of the things that I don't necessarily want to admit to is sometimes I have hit the random button. I like the purple and brown. The purple and brown looks really nice. Maybe we could do, if I can find the right brown, and that's the hard part, is I know for a fucking fact, like, when I see something in my head, I'm like, do we have colors for that? I don't think we have colors for that. And I was like, one of these days I wish I could just go through and make a list of the colors that I see that we're missing and send that to DE and just make a palette just of all the missing shit that we need. See, here's the thing about this. It's the right tone, but it's too pigmented. It's not gray based. And ooh, speaking of gray based, and that's where my head goes. It's like, I'm like, oh, okay, well, you want a gray brownie color? We've got gray brownie colors. We can, but it's not warm enough. It is not warm enough. I'm like, a part of me is almost like feeling like my body is rejecting this video. It's like, this video is not going to work, Rob. Just give up on it. Just give up on this video. But I don't know, like, I want to find like maybe like a brown and violet, like something pretty along those lines. But some of these colors take differently. Like, you know, like the owl crotchy area is definitely a different texture than this. See, I keep gravitating towards that color. Like, I want like an olivey brown, but I want it to be matted. And in my head, I cannot think of an olivey brown that is matte. I mean, we might have to change the metallics. We'll figure something out. But yeah, no, so that's kind of like one of the things that I'm like super cognizant of, is like, all right, what can I actually do with the colors that are available? Because the fact is, it's not terrible. Let's see if we can figure out a way to make that work. I would need a softer cream to offset that. I know y'all are looking at me like I'm crazy, but we'll see what the fuck happens. Like, that doesn't look as crazy, but that's still not the brown I'm looking for. It's still, like, it needs to, like, be a little bit more dulled down. Why don't we just give up and do, like, a rose gold customization? Let's just say fuck it. Let's just do rose gold. Alright, so we're going to do the thing that I always give people shit for. We're going to hit randomize, and we're just going to see where it takes us. Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no. And then sometimes you just get this, and it just looks like hot mess the whole time. Like, to me, all of that looks disgusting and hot messy. And you know what? Some people might disagree and love all of these crazy, ridiculous colors, but legitimately, I am not seeing anything that inspires me whatsoever. So we're gonna give up on that, and we're gonna just kind of like move along and see if there's anything else we can discover on our own, because this ain't doing shit. This ain't doing shit. I don't know all of these people saying, I can just hit random and I can get a good outfit. Really? 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 Because that's what I'm getting, and I'm over it. I'm over it. You guys are all liars. However, I do kind of like that gold. We've done so much gold already, though. Let's check out some grays. And this is kind of like the way it works in my head, is I like look for, I make notes of where certain colors are. On the map. Like right now, when I look for grays, I'm like, I want a warmer gray. That's almost a little too warm, and that's not warm enough. Man, let's see. It looks very dingy. It looks too much. It looks too much like the previous color. But what did I say? I did want to try to make this. Is there anything else that's really all that interesting with this? I don't want to go for a red, because everybody's gonna do a red, and that's like, no thank you. I'm like, I don't like it, as much as like I like the way that red looks. A part of me is also very much like, all right, who else is gonna do that red? I don't want to be that person. I'm gonna hit that violet. It just does not look right at all. So for those of you guys who don't know, I spend a lot of time doing customizations. It takes me a while. So when I have a customization that I really love, y'all know it's because like I put my heart and soul into that shit. Like I really tried to make it look right. Can we do something like that? It feels a little boring. It feels a little bland, to be honest with you. Like, it's there, it exists, but I'm not utterly loving it. I'm not utterly feeling it. There is no joy when I look at this current customization. Where are we going to go with the metallics? Do we want to go rosy? Rosy is pretty. Rosy is light. Rosy brings some warmth to it. However, I'm also not super fond of that purple with it. But I do like where we're going with the gray option. So let's go ahead and change that. Let's give ourselves some options. Now this is great where the gamma palette or like the classic palette kind of falls into play. Is to kind of go through and say, all right, well we can do this. He's looking real blue. Did I give him teal crotch in a different one? I might have given him. I did give him teal crotch. We could go with that. I'm kind of like, is there any like Plague Doctor references? All right, so what I'm gonna do real quick. All right, so we edited that part out just because I have no clue what you guys could see and what you guys couldn't see. We're gonna jump across. And I'm gonna actually go, and this is one of the other things that I do as well, is I actually go through and I look for inspiration, cause we can go ahead and look at images of Plague Doctors. So Plague Doctors, there's a lot of black. There's like black and like a really sharp white face. Maybe we could do black and white, but I think that's just too done. I'm seeing like, because I feel like there's greens, I feel like there's reds. Black and red is overdone though. I don't want to do that. I'm seeing a couple purples. I'm seeing some greens. Maybe we could go with something with green, and maybe we could fuck around with the energy color a little bit to kind of do green and purple. I know that Reaper has, from Overwatch, has one, and that's kind of like what stopped me. Ooh, this one is cool. It's got like, it's a white mask, but it's got like these orange horns that come out of it. Everybody wants these videos ASAP, and I'm like, you guys gotta give me some time. Give me some time, because I literally have to search through every single gosh darn palette to see exactly what makes me feel right. Oh my god, it's just too much. Oh no. No, 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 no. You know what? We're coming at odds end when it comes to that. So let's go ahead and let's look at possible colors to use for the metallics. Let's jump into the metallics and see. I mean, with this look, we could go with a cooler metallic. We definitely could go with a cooler metallic. Maybe even a purpley metallic. What if we, what if we give up on the weird purple belt and we use like a cool purple metallic? How do you guys feel about that maybe? Is there a purple metal out there? Is there a purple metal out there? I don't know. We can look it up. We can look it up and see, because we might be able to do something interesting, something kind of ghostly almost. I don't know. I'm not feeling the purple as much. The more that I'm looking at it, I'm like, but maybe we can have a bluish, like a kind of blue grayish. See, this is why I like the Storm palette so much, because legitimately you find weird shit like this in here that make for really, really good metals. It doesn't feel good. It does not feel good at all. I'm not getting any like strong, like, oh my god, that's so sick, like feelings in my bones. And it is very, very frustrating right now, because I'm like, this exists, it's a thing, it's here. I'm not excited by any of it, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna scrap it. Am I gonna scrap this? Am I legit gonna scrap this? I might just scrap it. Like, I can't. I don't know, none of it just feels inspirational. None of it feels right. None of this feels like it's something that I would care to publish. And that's a really hard part, is because sometimes I will sit here and I'll work on a customization and I'll just be like, this isn't doing it for me. This is not making me feel things. This is not making me want to create something. This is, you know, it's just sometimes it just does not feel right. And at this moment in time, I can genuinely say that nothing that I've seen so far is really all that impressive, and nothing that I've seen is really kind of like shaking me. I don't feel shooken to the core. There's no shookening happening right now. Right now, it's just kind of like, none of this feels good. None of it feels good. Maybe I need to just mix up my approach and see if I can find something different, something moving, something that really just... Right now, it's just boring. Right now, it's just boring. That's what it is. But all of these colors, like, to me, bright colors don't mean interesting. To me, bright colors don't mean exciting. Bright colors are like, I want to punch you in the face with my outfit. I'm not living for it. I'm not living for any of that, to be honest with you. Like, all of this is kind of making me sad, to be honest with you. I'm like, this is not... I don't feel... It just doesn't feel good. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a jump cut until I find something that does inspire. Alright, so we're doing a little bit of an experiment here, and we're going to see what we can do about reversing some of the colors. And that's one of the things that I always kind of try out and play around with, is to see what happens when you kind of put it on its head. Because we've been using this primary color as the dark color. You know, we wanted to do it dark. And I've been finding that I've had some trouble with that, and I actually don't hate this. But sometimes what you can do is you can reverse it to try to make it the lighter color and then have the accents be a little bit darker. And I'm thinking that maybe that'll play a little bit of a better role, but there's also that darkness right there. I don't think that it's interesting enough for me to really want to continue down that path. But it's a way. It's a thing that we can do. Just experiment with. Let's just see where this lands us. I mean, it looks good, but it's not, like, I think that that's wearable. Do I love it? Not really. Like, does that shake me to my core and make me go, oh my god, baby Jesus, this is what I've wanted? No, it doesn't. But it's different. It's the first spark of hope that I've had as I've been customizing. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Legitimately, you've got the cameras rolling and they're watching you, and you're like, fuck this, all of this sucks. However, I do like looking at the boots right here, and looking at kind of like all of the really nice texture that we get from the crotch area. I'm kind of feeling like maybe we should do something with an off-white. Like, I'm kind of into that. Maybe what we can do is we can work from there and find like a really like off-colored cream. Ooh, I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of into that. All right. So maybe what we can do now is we can mix it up and see if we can make something that works with that cream. Sometimes you have to find a focal point and then work from there, and then see what happens from there. You know, you gotta take your wins where you can. To be honest with you, especially when inspiration is running dry, where you're just like, I can't find anything to make this look good. Now, of course, with that, I want to go with something a little bit deeper, a little bit darker, a little bit richer. But I also want to make it different from what I've done before. So I don't necessarily want to go in and do the same thing that we've been doing. I mean, that is kind of pretty though. This is the hardest bit. It's really the hardest bit, is just kind of paring it down to knowing what you want and then trying to figure out where to move forward from there. Oh, that's a really pretty color though. That's a really pretty color. Okay, hold on. Why do I keep doing that? Is there like a way that we can... It's a pretty color, but I also feel like everything that I do is this frickin' rosy goldy bullshit, and I need to like move away from it. I need to force myself out of it, but unfortunately, this is what's looking right. To me, this looks right. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but it looks right to me. Like, it's like my body is saying, do it. Do it. I feel like we're getting somewhere, but we're not there. That's the issue here for me. It's like I feel like we're moving in a direction, but I don't feel like we've got it yet. I don't know where it is that we're gonna end up with this, baby. I don't know. I feel like it's just so bland at the end of the day, though. I just don't feel like it's a look. It's a look that exists. It's just not necessarily the greatest look of all. That's what I'm feeling in my heart of hearts. I'm still absolutely discouraged. This is not feeling good, you guys. I might just scrap this one too. Alright, so we are back. I actually stopped recording for a little bit because I got really down on the fact that things were not going all right. I'm still not quite where I want to be. However, we're moving forward with it a little bit. As you can see, I'm still having trouble trying to get the colors that I want, and it's one of those things where it's like sometimes you can sit here and you can literally pound away at a customization for a while, and it just does not work, and it repeatedly does not work to the point where you're just like bashing your brains in. You're just like, please just give me a break. Please just let something match up and look right. Let it just please just not be utter gutter trash. And to be honest with you, I'm still not 100% happy with what I'm seeing. However, there's progress that's being made. So I figured that I would go ahead and turn the camera back on. But yeah, it can get really frustrating. So this is kind of like what I'm working with right now. I'm trying to figure out what I want for the metallics. I'm thinking of doing something rose goldy with it, but I'm also considering maybe changing this to be a little bit rosier. No, that doesn't work. No, it doesn't really look like it's working, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and just swap it out because that white in the crotch is really just not helping at all. Maybe something blue? Something blue? Didn't we already do blue? We did do blue. Fuck. Okay, so we can't do that. Let's go ahead and change that metallic though. I'm also feeling, on top of that, I'm also feeling that like maybe that bronzy color that we had a little bit earlier would work too. So that would kind of like mix things up, or we can even have like a cool gold. Maybe that doesn't pop as much. It's hard because there is no specific focal point that I'm going for here. I like haven't found anything that really catches my eye that makes me go, oh my god, I must have that on the frame. There's nothing that's like earth-shakingly that's like calling to me in any way, shape, or form. And that's kind of like frustrating because you need to have some sort of inspiration when you're doing a coloration. At least for me, that's how it works. It's like you need to have something. I mean, that works. It works. It looks right, but we've also done that crotch before. We've done, Like, I need to kind of, like, check it and see, it's not terrible. It makes it look really owly. We could do something with, like, purple and gold, because I was actually looking up some inspiration for, like, popes and papal robes and stuff like that. And one of the things that I noticed is that they actually did use violets. Now, my only issue right now is the fact that I feel like this violet is very, very close to the original Harrow look. So, I don't know. We might end up scrapping this one too. I have no clue. But right now, at least we were making some sort of traction and you guys can kind of see something that's in my brain. That looks really interesting. Oh, you guys know that I've been kind of feeling that green, and I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it with the violet. It's something a little bit different, and maybe y'all are gonna be looking at me sideways for putting it on there, but this teal's not bad either. That's pretty. Okay, all right. This is a thing we can do. This one. Now it comes down to, like, grasping straws. I mean, I think we'll go with that one. I think that one is making some moves towards something a little bit different. I really am not super fond of this color. Like, I don't feel like that necessarily works with it as well as I would like to. I might have to settle for it. I mean, if that's as good as it can get. This one's a little bit brighter, but it's almost a little too warm. And the violet itself, I'm kind of questioning because I'm feeling a little bit like it's nice, but it's not necessarily my best friend in the world right now. Like, I feel like that violet is just a little too strong. So let's see what happens if we, brighten it up. No, it's just too clowny if we brighten it up. If it's too dark, it's a little too rich. Maybe we can find another violet somewhere. No. It's really hard. We don't really have that many violets that are of this quality. We could do that. Oh, okay. Everything is coming together now. Jesus loves us once again. However, I do want a little bit more punch, so we're going to go for classic. Maybe let's take a look at what classic saturated looks like. Classic saturated, it's a little too red. Let's go into just classic. I'm feeling it. It is coming together. How are you guys feeling? And I feel like that almost looks a little bit better with that off-white too. It's still a little, dingy for me. No, we'll see if there's any other colors that we can kind of find that kind of go well with it. And that's the thing, is sometimes you won't find the mix until you find the mix, and then when you find the mix of those two colors that just complement each other really well, you're like, oh, my life is okay again. Maybe we'll even go with this kind of like, no, it's a little too dingy, and I kind of like the warmth that we're getting from it right now. It's still not where I'd like it to be, but it is in not the worst place of the world. Let's see. This is a little bit cooler, which I think, let's keep the warmth. Let's keep a little bit of warmth in there. Is there anything in here that might work a little bit better, or no? That's a little too dark now. We need something a little bit brighter? No, it's a little too pinky violet-y. I think we're gonna go with that. I think we are just gonna leave it like that. Now, how do we feel about this metallic? I don't hate it, but I'm not sure if I'm necessarily all about it. Maybe let's look into some options. Honestly, that does kind of look a little bit better to me. But we always go with rose gold, so let's see if we can't mix that up just a little bit. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this, and this is how I judge it. I'm like, which one do I like better? I like the oranginess of the original one a little bit more than I like this one. Let's take that down a notch and see what happens. Boop, boop. It gets too dark. It's too dark. I'm not a fan of that. All right, so I'm feeling like maybe we're already on the right track. That's just too bright. Oh, okay. Boop, boop. That's also just too bright. Everything that I think is gonna be washed out and pretty, it's not. See, that's pretty, but it's also very washed out, and I know that it just doesn't have enough pop to it. It just does not have enough pop to it for me to really fall in love. I'm kind of liking the brass look to it now, But you know, this is kind of like the final, this is like the final steps to like just ensure that what you feel like what you're doing is right. There's some brightness to that and some life to it, but I think that maybe it's just a little too bright, too much life. Did I just pick the exact same color? That's a little bit darker, so that's not it. But I like this one because it's a little bit more washed out. Comparing contrast. Let's try some silvers. And someone just followed on Twitch. Yay. How about this one? Anything on here? No, it's just too bland. I think we're going to keep that. I think that that's going to be it. Now, as for the energy color, maybe we'll just rock with that teal. We'll go ahead and we'll figure out what this teal is. That's going to be there, and let's find the brightest variant of that so we can give that teal a little bit more credence. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into a mission and see how it feels. The teal part, I don't know. It's a little, I'll be honest, it's a little too intense for me. I'm going to run back real fast. And that's one of the things is kind of like you need to see it in several different lights to see how you like it. I like the teal on there, but I'm feeling right now that it's a little strong. Oh, I don't know if I want to commit to this. Don't know if I want to commit to this, but this is the one that I hate the least. It's not looking bad in this light. It is not looking bad in this light. I'm not hating the graphic effect thingies either. So we're good. Headshots, cool. I don't know how I feel about the energy color. I don't know how I feel about the metallics. I'm just feeling okay, to be honest with you. I'm feeling like it's okay. I don't necessarily feel like I'm not living for it. It's just good. It's just good. See how the chains look. Not bad. I don't dislike it. I'm not sold. That's how I'm feeling right now. I feel like it's the best that I've seen so far. It's different. It's a change. But I'm not necessarily, you know, I'm not gagging for it. I'm not like, oh my god, this is the best thing that I've ever seen. Alright, so we're back and I've made a couple, like, notes within my soul that I'm like, alright, we need to change a couple things. I like the color, but I do feel like I want to tone it down just a little bit, and I'm going to knock it down by going from the gamma palette, for the classic palette down to the gamma. I know that not everybody has it, and I know that that kind of hurts some people's souls, but me personally, I'm just like, I mean, you guys see that it's just a slight difference, but to me, it definitely says something. Now, I'm going to be on the hunt for something that's also kind of like a more washed out version of this, because for me, it's still a little bit too intense, a little bit more intense than I like. But I feel like we're on the road to where we want to be. That might actually be it. We'll see. And I know some of you guys are like, that, really? That's what you're going to change it to? But yeah, it's little things like that. Like, I feel like it's a little too intense for my taste. And here's the thing. If it's not too intense for your taste, then fantastic. That's what you can rock. But me personally, you know, I'm very nitpicky. I'm very like, okay, this is exactly the way that I want it. This is exactly the way that I want it to look. And some people are not all about that life. However, I'm very much, you know, like, you know me, you guys. I need to have things a certain way when it comes to customizations. I don't just, like, toss things on. So if you ever see a customization video where I'm like, this is how I like it, just know that at least, like, it's, like, my genuine OCD ridiculousness feeling. I might have to try that out. I might have to try that out in a mission, because that's nice. Ugh, all of the people right now are cringing. They're like, stop using the gamma palette, Rob. Stop using the gamma palette. It's either going to be that. Let's go and do that one. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the gamma palette, which I know you guys hate me for. That or that. It's going to be... And I mean, it's going to be either one, either way, really. I mean, this one's got a little bit more kick to it, and I guess gives it a little bit more flavor. So maybe we'll stick to that for now. But as you know that this is also approved. I'm also looking at this because, like I was saying earlier, I kind of like. I'm gonna go with that. Let's see how this looks like in the scheme of things. I think it looks right. And the metallic, I want to tone down a little bit too. Everybody's like, Rob, you spent so much time trying to make it so intense. However, it just did not, for me, it just did not, it was too intense. It just didn't work. Oh! I think we just found it, boys. I think we just found it. Like, we're gonna go into like this territory. This territory right here. Let's check it. That looks like really rose goldy. Hold on. You guys are gonna be like, you just said you didn't want to use a rose gold, but it's more copper than rose gold. I'm telling you. And I am telling you. It's basically the same thing, isn't it? It's basically the same thing. This is like lighter. This is deeper. I think it's different enough, you guys. I think it's different enough. Hold on. Let's go. Let's go into that palette one more time. It's not this palette, I know, but I'm gonna see if I can find anything else that's a little bit different-ish. Like I'm trying to give you guys different options. No, I like this one better. I still like that one better. And that one was in what palette? What palette was that? Oh my god, we're almost in the home stretch. Boys and gals. Okay, so it's a little too bright for me. Like this one's a little bright, but this one's washed out. Washed out bright is fine. So I think that pretty much does it. I'm happy with this. I like this. We've play tested it in the game. I am super. This is as good as it's gonna get for me. We did say let's actually try out some armor. You know what armor sets that I really like on him? Let's do that real quick. Oh my god, this video is like all over the place, and I feel really bad. The Ghazal. The Ghazal pieces are actually fantastic on his shoulders. I don't put them on his knees because legitimately you're not going to see the knees anyway. But this is like one of those really like undervalued sets is the Ghazal. I don't think too many people use it, or maybe some people just don't know about it. But I mean, of course I'm going to have to tweak. I'm going to have to tweak the coloration on it, but the way that it sits looks quite nice on him. See, and it almost creates these like triangles on his shoulders, which I am kind of super into. So let's copy main colors, and we're gonna have to shift around some things here. We're gonna go in here. We'll do that. We should make the blue the fabric, so we should leave that fabric-y. I think that's pretty much all that we really need to do it. That's fine. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all that we really need to do. And then the chest piece, I'm kind of up in the air about the chest piece on this one, mainly because of the fact that he's already got a lot going on his chest piece, but it kind of continues the whole fabric story that we've got going on, which I am not too bad into. Let's go ahead and check out the Riv, because I know that some people were saying, oh, you should check out the Riv Elite with this one, and you know what, we will do that. Where is the Riv Elite? Riv Elite, it's not bad. It's not bad if you like. I feel like he's already he's got a lot of metallics on him, and I almost feel like this might be a little bit overboard. Now for people who like overboard, you know, you do you. It mimics some of the nice kind of like shape that he's got from the sides, like those little things. Let's go ahead and test the chest piece, just because I know some people are curious to see how it fits. It's good. It's not me. It's not what I would do. I feel like there's a lot going on with that, but I can definitely see where some people would be into it. Let's go ahead and check out. Every now and then I just like try to toss on the Pakal and see exactly like where it's going with it. Not super big fan. Let's check out the Acanthus, because I feel like he's kind of like, listen, we've got it. It's like the Jesus frame. Okay, we're gonna put it out there. It's like the Jesus frame. I just want to see what it looks like with like thorns. I don't necessarily like it. If it flared out a little bit more, it would look a little bit cooler. Not into it. Of course, the Ito looks good. I'm not gonna say it looks great, but it looks pretty good on him. How about the like just the straight up Prisma Itos? Meh. I don't think that I don't think that he necessarily needs too much. Ooh, those don't look bad on him. Like coloration wise, like right now they look like crap, but I think that shape wise that they don't look too bad. That doesn't look too bad either, surprisingly. That is not the worst in the world. Did it keep it? Yeah, it did. So let's take a look at how it looks on both sides. Pakal? Oh, now it looks terrible. Okay, it looks terrible now, so I'm not into that. what about the dragon shoulder pieces? It's workable. I think you could rock that without feeling like bad about it. I would not be against that. I would not be against that. I would be against that, however. I mean, the ribbon part is cool, but I'm not necessarily feeling it. I think I like him best with no armor pieces. I don't think that he needs armor pieces to look good. I think that he can just be himself and not worry about it too much. So let's go ahead and finish this one out by adding the iconic chest piece, the Unity chest piece, because it's all about being together. And thank you so much for putting up with all of this. Like, this was a mess. This was, I mean, but let's be real, this is kind of like how customization does go with me. This is how it feels when I customize, to be honest with you. It can be really, really frustrating. I literally have to walk away from things sometimes because I get so frustrated with it. It just does not feel good. It does not feel right. It hurts my soul. So, you know, I just want you to be aware of that if you ever had your own frustrations with customization, it happens to all of us. It happens to every single one of us, and I don't want you to feel like you're like, oh my god, this person customizes so well, but I can't do it. Oh, it sucks. No, don't even worry about it. All of us go through it at one point or another. And that pretty much does it, you guys. I'm happy with it. I hope you guys are happy with it too. So let's do a quick rundown of the colors real fast. We have from the Gamma palette, I know, Don't Hurt Me. You can use the standard palette if you want. You know what color that is. Then we have that one from the Storm palette. Then we also have this one, this creamy lookness from the Dojo palette? Dojo palette. That is the Dojo palette. Then we have this look, which is from the Eximus palette. And the last one that you probably can't see is this one right here from the Storm palette. That's the energy color. It's nice and wispy, and I think we could get some ghostliness out of it. But yeah, so that pretty much does it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm gonna see how I can edit this. Let me know in the comments below if there were any of the looks that I trashed that you ended up really liking. Let me know if you get frustrated too, like what you do to get out of your frustrations. Maybe anything to help anybody else that wants to do Fashion Frame as well. And that pretty much does it. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.